Hi everybody, Colin here from Colin's Engage. A bit of a change of plan. This video was meant to be part 2 of the sounds of my new locos, but we've had a bit of a development since the last one, for the better I think. So that's what this video is about. So let's get on with it. Okay, the development. Something I've been wanting to do for a while. Most people have got them. This has been in the back of my mind to do this. And it's only due to the increase of engines. This has prompted me to do it sooner rather than later, or the start of it. And what I've ended up doing is putting that curve point in there, which, as you know, this is the shape of the layout. So where does it go? Well, where it goes under the up and over bit into 2 points, and then we have a new board, and it spreads out and it goes into a fiddle yard, a very small fiddle yard, but it's going to make a big difference, fiddle yard, to me. So at the moment there's 3 lines of fully finished. I've only got to this point here. I'm waiting for some more flexi-track to come, and I'll need some right hand points to go down here. Now, I have been able to get in my 100-ton tanker wagons, which go right from over here with the Class 60 on round to there. There is room to get one more in on that track, but if I move it to the outside, I could get on another, certainly 3 from the back of that. But that is good enough for me at the moment. That's a good length. But it was storing it, and it was getting very cramped, and I was wanting to do things with my layout, running ways, how I run the engines, where I run them, but there was so much on the layout I couldn't move. So I've always thought about using this area. Some of you may have noticed in the past that tank and wagon was down here, and there was a cupboard here. Well, it's all gone. I've altered the cupboards below, fixed them, and we have this. And the other thing, I always wanted a farm scene, so I thought in this area here I will make a farm scene and fields and stuff, and the chest freezers here. So the idea is this bit lifts off, as you can see. I can then lift the top of the chest freezer up. The stuff won't be on there, the wires will all be tidied up, and it just goes back on like that. So that gets me 2 things: the start of my fiddle yard and somewhere for my farm to go. Now, I did put that curve on there due to I didn't know how close it was going to be for the corners. Okay, I'm not going to need it, but that doesn't matter. I just wanted to lip onto that edge, and just lip it on to the edge of the layout here. It doesn't come out any further than the freezer, but it has made it more roomy feeling in this area here. So I'm going to end up with another 1, 2, possibly 4 lines here, maybe 5, but definitely 4. From that point to the wall, the train with the Pullmans, sorry, and the steam engine there and the diesel on the back, that will go in from that point to there. So that's great. My Pandolino will go in from there where the Virgin is and fit in easy on that. But at some point my Virgin train will get longer as I get coaches, so that'll all alter. So that is going to improve my layout and running. Then what I'm going to do, once all this is done here, I'm going to put a curve point on the upper level, and I've already cut a board to the same shape as this one, what's underneath, without the farm scene in. So that follows that shape, and I've already cut it to fit round there. And I'm going to have an upper level as well, but it will rise from that point and rise up, so it gives a bit of clearance under here. It's not just going to be the height of that. It's going to increase by maybe 1 or 2 inches over that distance as it goes round, and then it'll have a batten against the wall and stick out the same distance there. I don't need to see what's in there, as in it's not a display area, not like my main layout. So as long as I can have a look, oh, that's on that line, change the points. Now I have put the frog wire down underneath, ready, underneath all of these. But at the moment, I haven't electrified them. So I'm going to just change the points myself from here. For now, if when I do come to it, what I'm probably going to do is just put my servos on the surface like I've done under there, if you can see them, because you can't see them from the middle there. I'll probably do the same here just for ease. Bring the frog wire back up. Well, actually that'll have to, sorry, the frog wire will have to just attach to the bus route, which is running round under there, round that corner, and just have the servos on the surface. So that's one thing. But I've gone and bought something else which is going to make this area easier and the rest of the layout easier. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, what have I done now, you may ask? Well, what I've done is I've bought a new controller. Now, as everybody knows, that's what I use up to last week. And don't get me wrong, that is still one of the best controllers you can get for starting model railwaying, in my opinion. The advice I got 6 years ago was spot on, and it still is right today, except for my layout now is, as you've seen, getting bigger, but it's getting a lot of stuff on, and it's needing more power, is my layout itself. And as you know, in the last video, I'm getting a few more with sound on because of the way they're making things happen now. With the sound, it's getting better, so I'm getting back into it. But this isn't that good for sound. It is for the first 9 buttons, but then after that it gets a bit fiddly, and there's a delay on you thinking to yourself, say you wanted to have a bit of wheel squeal because it's going round a corner or round a point slowly, but it takes time for you to get this to tell the train. Now, okay, first 5 numbers, you just press a number, and it's there. But from 10 to 19, you have to press Option, which brings that up, and then you have to press the number you want, the second half of it. So if it's 12, you press 2. And then that goes, the sound is there, but you can't see it on your controller unless you press, sorry for the jerkiness, that button, expansion, and then you see it. But to change it again or turn it off, if you've got that lit, you have to get rid of it, then press Option 2 to get rid of it. Because now if I press the escape expansion key, you see it's gone. So that was a bit of a pain. And if you wanted from 20 up to your 28, then you had to press Option twice and then the number. So it wasn't that easy to make the sound happen at the right point. And other things were starting to happen with the controller. I use Autofrogs, as you well know, and they work on the principle of when the train touches anywhere in that point zone, or if it makes a connection through the arms of the points, what you flick to change direction, it will change automatically and it will go click. Sometimes you can hear it depending on what's running and how many are running. But what was starting to happen was they were starting to fizz a lot. Instead of going click, it was a strange noise. It was zzz, to if there wasn't enough power to make it click over. And the trains, and not everyone, but some more than others, would slow down over the point until it got to the next piece of track. And virtually every piece of my track, no matter how long it being a metre length of flexi to a 3-inch piece of track cut from flexi, has droppers on. And then it would speed up again. So I was starting to think, what's happening here? Am I Autofrogs wearing out? Or what? I just was starting to get lost. But then I twigged what was happening. And if anything under there came off and I wanted to see where it was coming off, that controller with the length of lead wouldn't reach. So I had a long piece of wire made. The wire's long enough, but what doesn't work with this is the signal going down the wire gets confused in the length of it. And say I was getting the Pendolino to make a noise, say, turn on. A train what wasn't even plumbed into with the chip code onto the NCE power cab would start making noises. Not the same noise, a different noise. Where one always starts it. Well, two. And then another train might turn its lights on. So things were going wrong. So I couldn't use the length of wire. So I would have to crawl out underneath, put the train back on the track, come back in, get it going, crawl back out and watch it. It comes off, fuses the rest of the track, everything stops, and it was just in out, and it was quite frustrating. And as I've said in the past, my knees aren't that good these days, so crawling in and out isn't... I can do it, but having to do more than I need to is a bit of a pain. So I needed a new controller. Now you can expand them, should I say, make them more powerful. You can have extra handsets. So I could have had one here and one out there. But what you do get with one of these and most controllers is that bit of wire. And if I've got it in my right hand now, and I turn to my right to say follow something, film something, and I want to keep going, the wire is getting tight around me. So I have to undo myself to look that way. So that wasn't ideal for filming. And again, there's wires. So there are many different things out there to get rid of wires. I didn't want to really go down, say, using a computer. I still wanted to drive the trains, but make it easier for me to do it. So what I ended up getting was a unit you put there. Now, unfortunately, the name is upside down. I'm sorry about that. But Pico is the name. That's what I say it is. I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it. I believe, even though the literature doesn't say, it belongs to the Ecos family. But I do stand to be corrected on that. But you get a handset. And the handset is that. Now, I'll just turn it on. And you'll notice it has a screen on. Now, okay, I said I didn't want to go down computers. This is basically a handheld computer. It's an Android. Now, I use Android phones. Now, I know, before any of you say, you can control your layout with your phone on some units. Like, I believe the Z21. But you can't control your layout on your phone and film. It's not going to happen. So I like to keep things separate. So if one thing breaks, at least you can still use the other. So it's a lot easier to press the buttons for all the different sounds, and it stores a lot more engines, which I'm never going to get that amount. I believe it's something like, I think it's 1,600 and something. Nah, I'm never going to have that, am I? Nah, I mean, I'm not, am I? But I'm getting a lot. And what I was having to do, excuse me while I just reach this, as you may or may not know, I used to have a list. And I used to just write new engines down and then go on the computer, type it up and extend it. But this was getting full, so I would have to have 2 of them. Well, that's fine. But I don't need that no more, because this stores every train you have. And another little safety thing, which I didn't like about the power cab. If you are watching one train, the train you're looking at wasn't on the screen, but was in the actually controlled by the NCE power cab, and you thought there's going to be an accident, and you press the emergency stop, it would only stop the train what was on the screen. Now, there was ways of getting round it. You could have a separate switch in between the power supply and the controller, and you could hit a big red button if you wanted, and everything would stop because it would cut the power. That's fine. And that was another thing wrong with putting a long lead on, because if you had other trains running and one had just come off, but you needed your controller, you had to unplug it, which would stop every train. You plug a new wire in, you had to set everything off, go in again. Well, this doesn't work like that. We have an emergency stop button, which stops everything. And it remembers everything what is running at the time for when you press go again. And including the sound. Now, when you turn it on, which we've just done, it always starts in emergency stop mode. And that is so, if you have left things running and you've done something, it doesn't set off. So, there are advantages with this. So, there's some beautiful features, I think. There's one in particular. And you can control it by using the slide bar at the bottom in power. But you have this big, I'm sorry, but it is a big, it's a big dial. And it's fantastic to use in your hand. That's the emergency stop button there. And when you press it, everything will start up. Lights will come on and things like that. Now, I'll just get rid of my steam noise. Which is so much easier. And then I've just got the Challenger underneath there. What you have up here, there's a couple of menu buttons. I'll just do it with a pen. I got a pen as well, not with it, but just to help. You can just press that there, and it brings the list up. List of locos. I'm trying to do it through watching the phone, and if you just drag it up, well, it does work. I want the Challenger, which is there. Press that, press 8, and that bit of noise stops. So, and also you can flick through your trains as well. And also, like this one, the Pendolino, as you know, has sound, so you put all your icons up. But the one next to it, the DMU, only has lights and that's it, so you don't need all the keys up, so you don't have to have everything up, and the arrows are the direction. I do believe you can put your own pictures in there, but I haven't worked out how to do it yet because it's only just appeared in the last few days and I'm still getting used to playing with it. So what we'll do, we'll just run the Pendolino around. There's a couple of features on this what I quite like. I'm just going to have to change this point over here. Excuse me while I do that. And make sure everything else is alright. Yeah. Yep, over there. Excuse me. Sorry about the flashing light. And we'll get it going. Now, you can, as I say, do it with the bottom, and you can also do it with the dial. So we'll get it going with the dial. And it's just a simple turn of that. You can put your finger on it and turn it by putting it in that hole. And it just shows you down there what amount of steps. All of them are going to have 128 steps or 26 steps, whatever it is. Now, a little feature it has, well, that's running. If I change to the DMU, what you've just seen, watch what happens to the knob. It goes back because that isn't actually moving, but the Pendolino still is. Now if you go back to the Pendolino, which is one step to the right, that goes back to the actual position you'd left it in. And there's something you can do with this. If you actually have hold of it in your right hand, I can't do it at the moment, and use your left hand to change the screen, and you've got your finger on it, if it can't move, it says it will not break. It like disengages the dial until you let go, and then it will move back or forward, whichever it has to do. So that's a nice safety feature. And as I said, if I show you it here, press the stop button, stops. Oh dear, it's come off, say, put it back on, press it again. That's the speed it was set at. The direction is forward, and it will get going again. Now it stops instantly, but when it starts up, it goes back into its momentum mode and builds up the speed if you've got momentum set. And then there's one other thing this controller's done for me. It has made it that every train, and especially that big Challenger train, the American one what I got, love the detail, love the noise, but it didn't go very fast. In fact, I know in the real world they were only made to do 80 mile an hour, and I believe they only ran it at 70. It looked like it only did about 3 mile an hour on my layout, and that was disappointing. But with this one, it runs at its proper speed because it's more powerful. The NCE cab, power cab, it says it's got 2 milliamps, but it actually only runs at 1.5. This one runs up to 5. At the moment it's only set at 2, but you can take it down to 500.5 of a milliamp instead of 1,000. 1,000 is 1 basically. So there's more power, but the power isn't in the milliamps, it's in the volts, and that has more volts going to it even though it's wireless. So what I'll do now is I'll take it out from here to me being out there with it. So just hold on. So I'm on the outside now, which if I was wanting to watch that train go over here and there was a fault, I wouldn't have my controller with me. So this is going to make it a lot better for finding faults, or even if this wasn't on, still to do it, because I couldn't hold the controller and look closely at what was going on. So now if I want, I can increase the pendolino and make it go faster from out here. And I could start to control other things if I want from in here, if it was set up to go. But at the moment, nothing is. So I'll slow it down to get into the station, hopefully, next time round, because it does take some winding down. So say, what I'll do is I'll just keep the pendolino going. Say if I wanted to bring the HST out from here and put it into the middle line. I could do that while that's still going on. I'm out here. All I've got to do is find on the list that has altered, because I'm now on to the 4311. Reverse that. So I can bring this one to here while that is still running. And if I just change that point there, and that one, I can bring that out while the pendolino is going round. Let's change that point, stop that, and the pendolino is still going round. And if I just take it back to the pendolino now, as you see, you heard it go back in. And if I want to now, I can bring the pendolino straight into the fiddle yard area. It will go in with that 43. I'm just showing you what I can do while I'm here. So that's well in, as you can see. It's got all of that left yet, and that's, so if I wanted now, I could actually have my 11 coaches on it, because I've got somewhere to store it. Just one other thing, if you turn it down to 0 and you go too far, it just goes back to 0, what's that set at. So you can't overdo it. And then I could run that round or leave that there and run something else. And when I do the top as well, I'll be able to move stuff about and get it ready. I'm also thinking about putting a right hand point before that one for it to go straight on into it, as well as a curve point here. But I haven't decided yet, because that would open opportunities for me to run the top line and keep it running while I take something into this area. So that may be a possibility. So I'll just do a small running session, even though you've just seen the Pendolino go around. I'm just going to use it again because somebody asked me a question from the last video, and this is why I needed a bit more room so I could do what I'm going to show you. Now, when I designed my layout and I wanted these reverse loops, I also wanted to incorporate the higher bit and the lower bit in either direction to work together. So instead of it just going round like the Pendolino, round the layout, and it ends up back there in the same place, I'll pass it. I just wanted to, every now and then, run it a little bit further to get back to this point. Now, as I said, somebody asked me a question about having a Pendolino and how good they run, or sometimes not run so good. Now, in all fairness, it runs very well, as you've seen. It goes very fast if you wanted it to go fast, but it runs very well. The only issue I have found is it doesn't really like double slips. It likes them one way, but it doesn't like them in another. Now, I'm just going to show you on this. If you just excuse me while I move us in a bit closer. If I was to run straight across to come to here, it wouldn't go, and it won't go straight across there. In either direction, the front bogie jumps off. It wants to go around the corner, but the rest of the train wants to go straight on. So it can look a bit comical that the front end, say, is on here and the rest of the train is running down there. It doesn't mind the back of the train running straight on, but not the front bit in either direction. And I have a few of these. So by chance, in my advance seeing into the future that I'm going to own a Pendolino what doesn't like going straight on over double slips, I designed it so I don't have to. Well, that was a load of rubbish, wasn't it? But by chance, I'm lucky. What it does like doing is running round the curve of it. So it runs round that way, or it will run round that way. Hence how it's got into there. Now, I do have another one here. Sorry about the flashing light. So it runs from there into that line to use the curve of that. But I'm going to show you it running on different parts of those slips, using it a different way. So I'm looking that way. It is also going to run over this one but again it's going to run round the curve of the double slip, so I don't have any issues with it at all, because I can make it run round the slips how it does go. So we'll just turn the sound on, just have a bit of fun with it. And then we'll get it going on this circuit what I want it to do. So while it's just warming up, I'll change that double slip, that point over there is set. So we'll get it going. I just have to change this point down here. You'll see why in a minute. Just excuse me while I reach over until I get these servos sorted. So there it is, going round. Comes to this double slip, goes to the left. That's how it gets over it. It's not going to use this slip at the moment because it's going to go up and over, and it goes up very well because there's two engines, one at the front, one at the back, so there's no problem at all. Just while it's going round over there and coming out over here, this double slip behind I'm just changing, and you'll see why in a minute. So it's going round there. So it's incorporating the top as well as the lower. Now we're going the other way now. We're going anti-clockwise. We started going clockwise, but we're going anti-clockwise. Sorry about the camera action. Not very good filming, but trying to watch what the train's doing and I'm doing. It's going down there, and it's going to appear over here. Up. That's it. It's going down there where it should go. And when it comes to this double slip here, it's going to go to the right. And then that one, it's going to come back, but it's going through the station, not next to the platform. So that takes it a little bit further. And to get it back to the platform, once going round once, I just have to change these points and double slips here. That's already set now. So the train is coming in. I'll slow it down a bit. Sorry, I didn't have it on the train there. I was watching what I was doing. Let's stop it at the platform. And turn it off. And it's just so much easier just to touch the screen and it's stopped. So now if I wanted, I can actually reach those first 2 points over there. I could actually bring out a different train if I'd already set the points, but I could bring out the 43 again from here. So that will look nice when I get a farm scene in that bit there. It will improve that. I'll put some trees round it. I know you're going to see the top deck with trains stored in it, but you know, you can't have everything. So that is the new handset, which at the moment I'm 99.9% happy with. I don't know where the other 0.1% is yet, but I'll find a problem for it. There must be. And the start of maybe 14, maybe 16 lines to store stuff on over 2 levels, which will be good. That will, like I say, improve it no end. Okay. Well, I hope that was interesting. Nice little bit of running session at the end. I hope you enjoyed it. And it's going to make my model railway, the new controller, tons better. It was good before, but it's just going to get even better. So thanks very much for watching. Anybody new, please subscribe, hit the like button, please comment, tell me what you think of it, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.